Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Sunday. It is Sunday at about 7 o'clock. I have been a lazy lump all day long. I'm going to show you a meal prep before I go to bed tonight so that you guys can have a new meal prep with quesadillas. But right now, Emma and we're going for a walk. Somebody has been driving me nuts at home, so she gets to go for a walk at the park, mainly for Mommy's sake. Alright guys, well we finally got some rain last night, and you can see, which is awesome for us. We needed some rain badly, but it also means that like all these leaves have come down over the summer because there's not been enough water to support them. We are in fact in a drought here in Tennessee right now, but I want to tell you guys, with those leaves coming down, it now feels like fall, or it smells like fall. It doesn't feel like fall. It's still like 95 degrees out here, but it totally smells like fall now. And so certain parts of the park where I walk, it's like, it smells good, but at the same time I really hate fall because it means winter is coming, and winter is not my favorite time of year. But anyways, it is what it is, right guys? Alright, so Emma and I are walking. I think the meal prep I'm going to show you tonight is going to be it's kind of like a vegetarian quesadilla, but you could totally put meat in it, and I'll tell you guys all about it. I bought the ingredients for it today. We're going to make that for tomorrow. What I ate tonight was actually bruschetta, and I will go over all the ingredients for that too, so you guys can know. Bruschetta is a little higher calorie, mainly because of the bread. So if you made the bruschetta topping, put it on something like chicken, it would be a lot healthier. I, however, am a sucker for the bruschetta with the bread. It's just terrible. So anyways, look at all these leaves, guys. I can hardly believe that all came down within about the last 24 hours. But we had a couple of good pouring rain episodes, so I guess it happens. Okay guys, we're done with the walk. I cut it a little short. There's somebody back in there screaming. It sounds like kids playing, but I don't want to be in the middle of it. So we are on our way home. Come on, Emma, inside. And she's off. So we're on our way inside. It is hot. It's like 95 degrees with like 90% humidity. It's awful. And the police officer just caught himself somebody. Woot woot. Sounds like they caught an animal. All the more reason for us to go inside and stay out of the middle of it. Okay guys, I am super tired, so I'm going to tell you how to make the quesadillas. It'll be tomorrow night before I actually make them, but I know I said I would, and I said it more than once, and I want to follow through with what I tell you guys I'm going to do. So here's what you need to make, sorry, moving a few things around, to make the quesadillas. You're going to need flour tortillas, and I really would suggest flour tortillas. Now guys, here's the compromise. You can get the small flour tortillas, and they're 90 calories. Or you can get the big ones, and they're 120 calories each. What I find works really well for me is to get the big ones like this size that are soft taco size, and just use one. So we're going to put it in half. We'll put all of our ingredients in there, okay guys? You can use, I have a quesadilla maker. If you don't have a quesadilla maker, don't worry about it. You just need a skillet, and you'll just put your skillet on, put a little bit of butter, and I do mean a little bit guys, because remember, we're being calorie conscious here, in there. Then the other part of what you're going to need, you will need some light sour cream. You will need some peppers and some tomatoes. You will also, if you do it like I do, you need some mushrooms and some shredded lettuce. You will also need some low-fat Mexican blend cheese. Okay, and I always get the low-fat kind, so whatever brand your store has, it doesn't really matter. I have that kind here in the house. I also have this Food Club 2% milk kind, but you're going to want to what the steps of this are. You're gonna take the green bell pepper, you're gonna cut it up into pieces, you're gonna take the mushrooms. The mushrooms, you probably don't need to pre-cook. The green bell peppers, you're gonna need to cook. Not until they're real mushy, but kind of until they start to caramelize and get that sweet taste and you start to bring that out. So you'll cook them to that point. Like I said, tomorrow night, as I will totally do it, but I'm gonna give you these instructions just so that I know that I actually followed through. So, okay, the green bell peppers, go ahead and cook that way. The tomatoes, don't cook that way. Then the other ingredient that you need that I almost forgot to tell you guys about is you will also need some refried beans. Now, what did I do with my refried beans? Where did they go? I don't think they ever made it in the cabinet. And I would be right. Okay, so here are the refried beans that I prefer. I actually like Taco Bell's fat-free. If you're like me and you don't eat pork, they don't have pork in them. So you'll need a can of those. So what you'll do is you will take your green bell peppers, go ahead and cook them, not until they're completely done, but till they're almost there, okay? Because we're gonna cook them again inside of that. And keep in mind that it's only gonna take 2-3 minutes tops for that tortilla to become nice and golden brown. So, yawning, trying to turn you guys away so you don't see that horrible face that I make when I yawn. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take beans, apply to half, just like on half. Just apply the amount of the other ingredients, the peppers, the cheese, the mushrooms, and the tomatoes. And guys, if you want to, you can also use corn. You could totally use corn in this too. Be fine, totally fine. Any other vegetable that you think you would like in it, go for it. I would say experiment. If you want some chicken, make sure to go for it. The one thing to keep in mind is that you need to put very small amounts on this because, let's be honest, when you flip this over and it folds, you don't want it sitting like that. That will not make a good quesadilla. Now, you have a choice to make. I say you should eat like half of one and like one tortilla. And the reason for that really is that if you eat one tortilla, it's 120 calories plus your beans and then your veggies. So it keeps, and your cheese. Your beans, your veggie, your beans, your cheese, and your tortilla are what's gonna raise the calorie count of this recipe. So if you limit, use as little as you can, guys. Let's be honest, just use as little as you can. But here's the thing, and this is the choice you have to make. If you're gonna eat half of it now and half of it later, I would say use 2 tortillas, make a big round flat like what you're used to seeing for a quesadilla. If you're only planning on eating it that one meal and you don't want to prep it out beforehand for another, I would say fold it over and just use 1 tortilla. I hope that makes sense. Also, the mushrooms, they tend to be a little watery, so if you're going to make it in advance and you're not going to eat it that meal, you may not want to include the mushrooms. The rest of it really won't. So sorry guys, I'm so tired. The rest of it really won't make it too watery. The tomatoes shouldn't be bad if you cut them right, and I use Romas in them because the Roma tomatoes just hold up better with cooking in the heat that gets put in it and still leaves the flavor in it. So totally make your choice about that, but that's what I use. Yeah, then that's all there is to it. You'll cook it till it's brown on both sides, and then serve it up with lettuce on top and a little bit of sour cream. And you can also, if you'd rather not put your tomato inside of your quesadilla, you can totally put that on top, and that's probably what I would most typically do. But if you wanted to put it in there and cook the tomato down, that's up to you. That's how tired I am, guys, is that I'm thinking we should put the tomato inside. Really, you shouldn't. You should put it on top at the end. So anyways, you can go ahead and pre-cut all of your green bell peppers and everything up and get it prepped and ready to go so that when you get home, all you got to do is that one little piece. Now, this is not a recipe that I necessarily make a week's worth at a time. I would say you could totally make like the next days. If you wanted to try to do a week's worth of time, I highly suggest you freeze them. I've never done that, so I can't tell you if it would turn out well, but I suspect it probably would. Yeah, so that is my quesadilla recipe that is kind of low calorie. I will totally cook it for you guys tomorrow, but tonight I made, I do not know why I'm yawning so much. I made bruschetta, and my bruschetta is super simple, guys. Here's the ingredients: Roma tomatoes and basil leaves. Some people will go to and pay, like I watched a lady today at the store, she paid $5 for a container of basil. I see no reason to ever do that, considering the fact that you can buy a plant of basil and grow it inside if you want. I'm gonna flip this light on so you guys can see mine. That right there in the box closest to us, that's nothing but basil. I don't see a reason to necessarily pay for basil when I know I can grow it. This last winter I didn't have any in home inside. This winter I'm planning to move a plant, at least one plant inside, so that I can continue to have it throughout the winter. That'll be an experiment that we all do together, because I don't know how that's gonna go, but I'm gonna try it. But anyways, you know, I would say get you a basil plant, put it in a pot. It grows in containers well. That one's in a container on top of my, you know, my little deck out back. And save yourself the money, because the plant will cost you $3 or $4 and it'll produce all the basil you need for an entire summer versus buying it at the store. But that's my preference. Y'all do what you'd like to do, what works best for you in your situation. Maybe you have a brown thumb and not a green thumb and can't do it. That's perfectly fine. I'm just sharing my preferences. Then when you do bruschetta, I'm a fan if I have to use bruschetta of Roma tomatoes. I would totally do Romas. All I do is I cut them into slices and then just cut them into quarters. Then I just ribbon my, I roll up the leaves of the basil after I've washed it and cut it into little ribbons, and then cut once or twice down, that like my ribbons would go this way, and I'll cut across them like twice that way. And then just stir it in together. I don't put any salt and pepper on it. I don't think it needs it. It flavors it beautifully and sits on top of whatever you want to make into bruschetta. So, anyways. All right. Well, as much as I have yawned, one more for good measure, right? As much as I have yawned, I'm about to go to bed. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I've had a wonderful 4 days off. I have to go back to work tomorrow, so tomorrow will be just a regular work day. No big deal. And this week looks like it's going to be kind of busy. Might be going to dancing in the, it's not Dancing in the District anymore. It's Live on the Green. Might be going to Shakespeare in the Park. I'm not completely sure. May have lunch plans this week. I'm not sure. Going to try to sell the antique doors this week. The other thing I have to do this week, guys, is go to the school. I'm going to have my orientation, get my classes laid out for this semester. I won't be able to take classes next semester, but I will this semester. Ooh, got something in my eye. Oh, me. Looks like I'm fluttering my eyelashes out at you. Oh, dear Rhett. Okay, anyways, stop being cheesy. Got to get my student ID, my classes, talk to an advisor, and kind of move forward. That will limit some of what we do all week long, because I'll have to study a certain amount because I'm a perfectionist and I want an A in a class if I'm going to take a class. Yeah, I'm one of those people. So anyways, I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I will see you guys tomorrow. If you're new, please push the subscribe button below. If you're here every day, I'm so glad to see you. Please ignore the mess that's behind me. Either way, I'll see you guys tomorrow.